Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. I am super excited to be talking about today's topic about mastering the mundane with daily habits and macros 101. We are still in the basics right now because it's the new year and I want to make sure that everyone is set up for success. Starting next week, we will be having our coaching calls at 2 p.m. instead of 10 a.m. Just to see if more people can get on because it's an afternoon time. Maybe people take their lunch breaks around that time to see if we can get more bodies in the class. But without further ado, the goal of this session is simple. We're going to talk about how to help you feel or stop feeling overwhelmed, how to help you stop starting over, and show you how the small, boring things that you do every day are actually creating results. Okay, so um, there's there's no need to get into about me. Y'all know who I am, but I do want to do my housekeeping as always. I highly recommend having a food scale and measuring tape. These are not about obsession, they're just about awareness. They will help you understand your portions and see your progress even when the scale is fluctuating. And as women, the scale is going to fluctuate. That's just the nature of how our bodies are made. So I don't like you to obsess over that, but using it as a tool of measurement. Also, if you have not joined our free Sassy Fit Queens Facebook group yet, please let me know. You can send me a message or comment under this video and I will let you know how you can join that group. Just it will give you added motivation as well. You can ask questions there and things like that. And it's full of women just like you who are working, parenting, juggling life, and still choosing themselves. As the game plan reminder exists and stays, it does not change. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. I want you to know that to stay on track, especially during the holidays, it helps to focus on the basics. So stay on track with your food as best as you can. Move with intention, 45 to 60 minutes daily. Even walking counts. Okay? Resistance train 3 to 5 times per week. Drink plenty of water. Half your body weight, max 1 gallon. So if you, depending on what your weight is, I don't want you to feel like you're drinking the ocean. So if half of your body weight is more than 1 gallon, stick to 1 gallon. Okay. Also aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, restful sleep, because it's not really sleep if you're just lying there, right? And your brain is all over the place. That's not really sleep. So focus on those basics because that will help you to regulate your cravings, your energy, and your emotions. All right. So to kick things off, I want to give you some examples of daily habits. You have things like drinking water, which is something I talk about a lot, walking every day, packing lunch, going to bed earlier. Those are some examples. Now, especially if you have a job where you're sitting, like me, my job, I'm sitting. I'm coaching you guys, I'm answering your questions, I'm doing webinars like this to educate you. Jobs like that, you are going to need to get up and get moving, walking. You don't want to spend your days sitting down all day and then not be active because it's not going to help you with your goals. So getting up, walking for 10 minutes after lunch or something like that, whatever time permits. I know when I was working in an office, I would use my 15-minute breaks for eating because that's all the time I really need. I don't need a whole lot of time to eat. Yes, I eat slow, but 15 minutes is enough time for me to eat. So I would use my 15-minute breaks for my lunch and I would go walk on my 30-minute breaks because that gave me a little bit more time. Now, if you need a little bit more time to eat, then you can walk on your 15-minute breaks and eat on your lunch breaks, whatever works for you. But that's what worked for me. So I got up and I got walking every single day. Each break that I had, I went for a walk. I think I had two 15-minute breaks and a lunch. And I walked on my last 15-minute break also. I needed to get out of the office. I needed to, get some fresh air, clear my head, You don't know, that does wonders for your workday. So, and also make sure you're taking a break. I've heard too many clients say that their job don't allow them to take a break or that they work through their breaks. That's not healthy. You want to make sure that you are taking a break, pulling away from work. There is nothing more important that's in that work than your health. Absolutely not. Pull away. Even if you're a nurse and you're walking around and you're doing, they give you a lunch break. Take it. Sit down. That client, that chart, they have other people, other staff on the floor that can help. I worked in the hospital as well at one point in time in my life, and I know that it's important to take your breaks. It's easy to work through your breaks, but you need to be intentional about taking those breaks for your mental health, your well-being, your energy, all of that. Um, so now we're going to get into our chat about mastering the mundane. What does mastering the mundane mean? I'm so glad you asked. Let me break it down. Mundane means boring, okay? And habits are the small things we do everything without thinking. So a lot of times these habits that we're building, we can look at it as, oh man, this is boring. I don't want to keep doing this. But after a while, it becomes habit and second nature. You don't think about it. Like, I'll name off a few things. Brushing your teeth when you wake up, using the bathroom when you wake up, washing your face when you wake up. Those things we do without thinking about it. I hope you brush your teeth when you wake up. If you don't, I ain't even gonna pretend I'm not judging because that's gross in my opinion. But those are simple things that we do without thinking. You know, for people like me, the the way that my morning looks is I wake up, I stretch, I use the bathroom, I brush my teeth, wash my face, make up my bed, get dressed for the day. I drink my lemon water. Sometimes, depending on the time that I get up, if it's later than usual, I'll get up and drink my lemon water after I use the restroom, and then I'll come back upstairs and do my other stuff, my brushing my teeth, all that stuff, making my bed, because I want to make sure I get that water in me before I drink my coffee. So that's how my routine is. So any type of habit that you do and you are intentional about making sure it gets done, like brushing your teeth and all of the basic things you do when you wake up, are things that we learned from our parents as a kid, of things that are important to do in the morning. And it might seem boring, but it's a necessity, and that's how you keep your teeth clean, keep your breath fresh from offending people, putting on deodorant, things like that. So, um, you don't just brush once and expect perfect teeth forever. You do it every single day, I hope. You floss every single day, I hope. You put on deodorant every single day, I hope. So, all you're doing is adding other routines that is going to help you with your health, right? Like drinking that lemon water in the morning before you drink coffee, not making coffee the first thing you consume. I love coffee and I love to have it in the morning. I look forward to it because it's so good, right? But I make sure that I'm intentional about drinking my lemon water. And also, the reason that daily habits matter is because big goals, the big ones that we're working on, the weight loss, the strength, the energy, getting our labs back in order, and things of that nature, big goals are built from small actions. It's not built from motivation, it's not built from willpower, it's built on repetition. So the things that we do most often, like I ask you guys to track your food, it might seem like a lot of work in the beginning, but now I have created something that makes tracking a lot less time consuming, where all you have to do is send me a message with a picture of your meal, type the command slash meal help in a short description of what it is, and it will track your food for you and give you some information about what you ate. Maybe something that you can add next time, maybe something that you can take away because maybe it was too much carbs or something like that. But you don't have to worry about going and tracking it. It's already tracked for you. And that's a lot simpler. If it's something that you can track, it's easy. You can just scan a barcode and track it. Or if it's a meal that you're not really sure how to track, it's something you made on your own with a recipe, You can use that tool and it makes life simpler. But it's very hard to measure what you don't see, right? A lot of times we want to know how much we weigh. We can't know how much we weigh if we don't get on the scale. We can't know how much our waist is shrinking or things of that nature if we don't measure our waist or pay attention to how our clothes fit. If something is getting too snug, that means that we're probably gaining weight in different parts of our body. So, and if that's not an intention of yours, then we need to do something about it. So, daily habits reduce decision fatigue. It also lowers your stress and it creates momentum and builds confidence. So, when habits are in place, you don't rely on motivation. You rely on routine. And then once you build that routine, it's second nature. The problem is that a lot of times when we build those routines, something in life happens to throw us off. And rather than hopping right back on when that said thing dies down or goes away, we stay there. We stay wherever it was that caused us to get off of our routine instead of saying, okay, this is what happened. I need to get myself back on track. And it happens to the best of us, you know, and that's where accountability comes in, and that's why you're here. To have someone to be like, hey, remember your daily habits. Remember, you got to get this stuff done. So, I want to break down habit building. First, you want to start small because one small habit at a time will build more and more. So you want to do one small habit, not 5 and not 10. I know when I give you guys your habits, your daily habits in the app, I give you at the very most 3 because I don't want to bombard you with 50 million habits that you can't keep up with. So I try to keep them small and simple. And then once you graduate from that, we can add something else. And you also want to remember that consistency outweighs perfection. Okay? Done is better than perfect. You don't know how many times I have gone to the gym where my energy has been low or not how I'm accustomed to it being. And with that, I'll say, all right, I'm going to do what my body allows me to do today. I showed up. I'm not going to kill myself, but I'm going to get something done. Even if it's just stretching, even if it's just walking on the treadmill, I got up and I got something done. And that's all you need to do, because just because you're not feeling 1,000% today doesn't mean you don't show up for yourself, because that lack of consistency will break your habits, right? Also, you want to be specific. Instead of saying, I'll eat better, I hear that a lot, say, I will add protein to my breakfast. What type of protein am I going to add? I'm going to add me some eggs to my breakfast. I'm going to add a protein shake to my breakfast. Make sure it's actual protein. Make sure you are using the Yuka app to scan your foods. And also make sure you're reading the nutrition facts to make sure that that number that you're aiming for is the highest number on that label. What I mean by that is if you're searching for something that is a protein source, you want to make sure that that number on that label next to protein is higher than carbs and fat. If it's not, then that's not the source of food that's the macro source that you're getting. If the fat is higher, then that's a fat. If the carbs are higher, it's a carb. It may have other things in it, but you're getting a majority from the highest number. So think about that next time you read your labels. Also, you want to stack your habits. Make sure you attach a new habit to something that you already do. Like me, when I'm doing my nightly hygiene and I need to take my sleep supplement or my sleep aid, it's right there by the sink, because I know when I brush my teeth and everything for bed, I'm going to take that. Also, same thing for vitamins. I know every morning I'm going to make my coffee. So I have my vitamin container sitting right next to my coffee stuff. That way when I'm grabbing the stuff for my coffee, I'm grabbing my vitamins. And then if it's a certain vitamin that I need to take in the evening time, I sit it on the table because I'm eating dinner at the table, and that will remind me, okay, you have vitamins in here you need to take before bed. So stack them with things that you already do. Stretch after brushing your teeth, drink water before and after your coffee, and walk after dinner. All you need is a 10-minute walk. And I call it a digestion walk. So, like if you have dinner and might be tired or something, you can get that 10-minute walk out the way before you go to bed versus going to bed like laying down right after you eat. Hope this makes sense for you guys. Also, learn to track so that you can learn from your habits rather than judging yourself. A lot of times there are situations where we will track something and the numbers aren't what we think they should be or what we would want them to be. And we find ourselves judging ourselves saying, oh my gosh, coach is going to be so mad at me, or man, I'm really horrible. This is not what I thought I was going to be doing. And man, now I see why I'm where I'm at, type of thing, right? And you don't want to do that. Welcome, Isaiah. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. We're just going over macros and habits and how important they are to build. So we're going to continue where we left off. And of course, you can watch the video back. I'll send you the link to catch up from the beginning. Sounds good?
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So now make sure that you understand that tracking is data. It's not a report card. So, yes, I'm going to give you feedback on the things that you track so that you can do better. Yes, I'm going to point those things out, but it's not for you to like beat yourself up type of thing, right? Also, celebrate small wins. Progress is built through encouragement, not punishment. Okay? Progress is built through encouragement, not punishment. So, the next thing we're going to talk about is what macros are. This is your macros 101. Okay? So, basically, macros are the big nutrients that your body needs every single day. Think of macros like tools in a toolbox. There are three macros, only three, and those are protein, which is the number one, carbs, and fats. There are so many misconceptions out there about protein. It is ridiculous. I've heard things from too much protein is not good for you. Too much protein is going to hurt your body. Do you realize that I probably 80% of people don't eat or consume enough protein? Talking about too much protein, especially women, because we have this mindset that protein is going to make us bulky or protein is going to make us bloated. That's not the case. If you're consuming majority processed protein, maybe that's why you're experiencing bloating. Also, if your stomach is sensitive to dairy and you're using whey protein, whey is dairy. So you have to be mindful of those things. You need to educate yourself, speak to someone who knows what they're talking about. And social media is not it. It's information overload. And half of these social media influencers don't know what they're talking about. So you need to make sure that you do your own research and ask someone who knows what they're talking about. But protein is the number one most important macronutrient because that is the building block of your body. But we'll get more into that. But the three macros are protein, carbs, and fats. Every food is made up of one or a mix of all three of these. So let's get back into protein. Protein is what I like to call the builder. Y'all remember Bob the Builder? Let's act like let's act like the things he was building was protein. If he didn't have that, what was he gonna build? Protein builds your body. Protein helps build muscle, burn fat, keep you full, balance blood sugar, and reduce cravings. Protein is the most important macro for women who want energy and fat loss. I'm going to say that again. Protein is the most important macro for women who want energy and fat loss. Some examples of protein is chicken, eggs, fish, Greek yogurt, beans, and protein shakes. So please tell me, how can any of those, too much of any of those, be bad for your body? Especially if you're splitting them up in meals. How many meals do you see that always got some chicken in it? Or some beans? The important thing is to spread your protein throughout the day and not try to stuff it all in one meal. Every meal, including snacks, which is still a meal, should include protein. At least 25 grams. If your meal is not at least 25 grams of protein, it's not enough. And you can get that very easily. Even if you just eat some Greek yogurt with berries. The Greek yogurt, they have 20 grams of protein Greek yogurt out there. That's an easy 20 grams. I know I said 25 grams, but 20 grams is not that shy of 25 grams. So every meal should include protein. The next macronutrient is carbs. Carbs is what I like to call the energy. The reason I say that is because carbs is where you get your fuel. Your car needs gas, fuel to move. Without fuel, your car will not function properly. It won't go anywhere. That's the same with your body. Without carbs, your body will not have energy. We're not talking about cakes, pies, and processed foods. We're not talking about that. We're talking about whole, nutritious carbs like fruit, rice, potatoes, oats, beans, and veggies. Carbs are fuel. Your brain loves carbs and your body needs carbs. The problem is that a lot of us like to eat sugary snacks and drink soda and eat candy and pastries and think that that is breakfast, and it's not. Let me tell y'all, those carnation breakfast drinks, that is the most horrible thing to drink, period. Not even just for breakfast. That thing is loaded with sugar. And then they have the audacity to label it as a protein drink when you have way more sugar and carbs in it than you have protein. Let's be real. That is a sugar snack dessert. That is not a healthy, nutritious breakfast drink. And if you give it to your kids, they're going to be bouncing off the walls at school. And then they're going to crash. So our energy is affected because we're eating the wrong types of carbs. If you snacking on candies throughout the day, you're doing yourself more harm than good. If you eating donuts, pastries, danishes every morning, you're doing yourself more harm than good. I'm not saying you can't have it at all. I'm not saying that. But every morning for breakfast, that's not breakfast. That's sugar. Your body is not going to thrive on that kind of breakfast. That's why even as a young teenager, I didn't like continental breakfast. Because to me, that wasn't breakfast. Every time I walk in, a continental breakfast is muffins, pastries, danishes. They might have some eggs and the little boxes of cereal. And maybe they might have some sausages, which I'm not a fan of sausage links. So I would just get eggs and some toast because I don't want to eat that for breakfast. That's not breakfast. And orange juice. I don't like orange juice. I know people like orange juice. I don't like orange juice. I'm not a citrus juice person or juice period. Like, I just don't like orange juice. But that's what they would give for anytime we went anywhere and they said, "Oh, we're serving continental breakfast." Well, let me just be prepared to go get my own food because that's not breakfast. And as a teenager, what, you ain't gonna get your own food? Your parents paying for the stuff. So I just got eggs and toast and milk or whatever. But I just want to let you know that carbs are not bad. The unbalanced carbs are. And so I hear so many people say, aren't carbs bad for you, or I'm doing no carbs? And I'm like, they have this misconception. Isaiah said as soon as you told me that I stopped drinking it, so now it just sits in the fridge. Well, what about the powder? Don't you have the protein powder and some milk?
Like I use the protein powder and the milk, but as far as the
Oh,
drinks,
the other. Oh, you
yeah,
don't drink it no more.
no
Okay.
more.
Yeah, that stuff is horrible for you. Horrible. Horrible. So, also, um, the last macronutrient is fats. This one I like to call the protector. And we need to understand that fats, the healthy fats, protect your brain and your hormones. And also, a lot of those sugary carbs are high in the wrong type of fats. So, healthy fats include avocado, olive oil, nuts, and seeds. And they help with hormones, mood, fullness, and vitamin absorption. For women, especially, you don't want your fats to be too low because that will mess up your hormones. It will have you lacking energy, and the vitamins that you take will not be absorbed properly. So you want to make sure that when you're cooking your foods that you're cooking in olive oil, um, that you are having enough of the healthy fats in your meals. If you're cooking in olive oil, you're fine. Healthy fats are good for you. If you're eating your eggs and you keep one of the yolks, fine. If you're cooking that in olive oil, fine. I cook my eggs in olive oil. I pretty much cook everything in olive oil except like oatmeal and cream of rice or grits. I don't put oil or butter in that. There's no need. Like I use the I can't believe it's not butter spray on top, but my grits are back bussin'. My son can tell you my grits are good. Okay, um, and I don't put butter in my oatmeal. It's no need for that. But my rice, I put olive oil in that. I put it in my eggs. Anything I cook with, I use olive oil. And I have this little jar that I got off of Amazon that allows you to spray or pour. I just use the spray um, for it, and it helps to spread it out in the pan or whatever that I'm cooking with. So I want to let you guys know what a balanced meal looks like. A balanced plate includes protein, carbs, fats, and veggies when possible. For example, chicken, rice with broccoli cooked in olive oil. That's a simple plate. Even if you swapped out the chicken for ground turkey or for fish or for beef, lean beef, 90%, no less than 80%, but 80% is still kind of fatty. So I recommend 90%. Um, but if you swap, or salmon, or whatever you swapped out the chicken for, those are all sources of protein. Sometimes I even do sardines. I love sardines. I know everybody don't like sardines, but I love them. And tuna. So, and I like to make stews with my fish to kind of switch it up. Sometimes I'll do it the regular way. I'll pan sear it, or I'll add some egg wash and put some breadcrumbs on it to add a little crisp to it, or I'll cook it and chop it up and make like a stew with it, like a curry stew with some tomatoes and things. So good, right? So you want to make sure that your meals are balanced, and the same thing applies with your snacks. You want to make sure that, like, if you have beef jerky, that's fine, but you can have fruit with it, or you can have yogurt with fruit and granola. Um, you can have like the cheese sticks; those have protein in it. It's so many different ways that you can have a snack. They also have like the little tuna cups as well. So just know that balanced meals gives you less cravings, better energy, and more consistency. So, since Isaiah is in here, I'm going to ask, is there a particular macro that you struggle with the most out of the protein, carbs, and fats? Like, is it not enough protein, fear of carbs, too many fats, skipping meals? You trying to unmute yourself?
Um, skipping meals, not enough protein, and too much of the unhealthy fats.
Are you mumbling? What did you say? Are you
Okay.
thinking out loud? Here, I'll put
Yes,
it in the
ma'am.
chat. Oh, let me put it in the chat. Hold on.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, what? Is that for me to hear?
Okay. Not enough protein, too many
Not
of
a.
the unhealthy fats, and then skipping meals.
You still skipping meals?
Uh,
Don't you have an
not as not.
alarm?
I do not as much as I did before, but I
You still turning it
still
off?
got that kind of scared.
Huh? Well, you the only one can fix that. I can't. I could just give you the keys. You gotta open the door. So, but you know what you need to do, right?
Yes, ma'am. Like my
And
snack alarm for in the next 2 hours. I gotta make sure that I actually go
huh?
eat a snack. Hey, I said I got my snack on for in the next 2 hours. I gotta make sure I actually uh
You
make
can
sure
push
I
it to
actually go
three
eat
hours
it.
if your meals are big enough. If your meal is small,
Oh,
are you hungry after 2 hours?
well, no, I I ate at 10, so
So then you
I
can eat again
usually
at 1.
at one. Okay, that works. I don't know if I did not
So how do you do
do
your
that.
alarm? Do you have it preset or do you set it based on when you eat?
I had my
You have them preset?
yeah,
So it's 10 o'clock your first meal?
yeah,
You say yes?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because, well, if that's the case, then you got to follow it. Okay. Well, let's just know that awareness is the first step to change. You are aware of what you're doing, and you are also aware of what you need to do. You just need to find a point between bringing what I need to do to I mean, what I know I need to do to what I actually do and make it happen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right then. So, um, I just want to remind you, nutrition does not need to be complicated. Although we make it complicated, it doesn't need to be. It just needs to be consistent. Focus on eating regularly, adding protein, drinking water, and building balanced meals. Small changes done daily equal big results over time. So, as always, I like to give homework. The homework today is simple and not overwhelming. So, you're going to choose one habit to focus on. You can either add protein to your breakfast, drink water before you drink coffee if you are like me and love your coffee in the morning, or walk 10 minutes daily. Pick one. Then build one balanced meal per day: protein, carb, and fat. Track for awareness, not perfection. And write this sentence in your notes. This week, I'm committing to mastering blank. That's it. That's a simple homework assignment. You think that's complicated, Isaiah? Is he? Oh, he done disappeared. So let's see. All right. So in closing, you think that homework is difficult, Isaiah? Did you hear what I said the homework was? I sent it to you either way. So, um, just choose one. I sent it to you. But I thank you for joining us today. This wraps up our group coaching session. Next week, starting next week, I'm going to start having the calls at 2 p.m. instead of 10 a.m. Give people time to get on the calls and maybe go on their lunch break or something like that. Try to get some more people in here. But as we close, I do want to remind you that mastering the mundane is not flashy, but it does work. You don't need a new plan, you just need consistency with the basics. A lot of times we focus too much on the big stuff, and nutrition and health doesn't need to be the big stuff. It's just simple, it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. You're welcome. So, here's your final reminder: small habits equal big change. Consistency brings confidence, and routine brings results. All right? Thank you so much for showing up for yourself today, even if you watch this back on replay. This is how real change happens, one honest conversation at a time. I'm proud of you, so let's continue working through January steady, confident, and empowered. And I look forward to seeing you next week at 2 p.m. for another webinar where we will continue with the basics with the topic of what supplements we should take. All right? I hope you have the most amazing rest of your day, and we will chat soon.